Hello, all you hardcores out there. Today I'm joined by Terry. How are you doing, Terry?
Mate, all good. Yeah, it's just tired and in bits from rugby yesterday.
Good man. I'm waking up this morning to news in the Sun newspaper that Conor Benn and Manny Pacquiao's in talks.
Uh,
What do you think?
uh man, I just I don't see it happening for a start, just because I don't know where they'll get the budget from to make that happen.
Yeah,
When you're charging people 20 quid for the zone and then pay per view on top of that, no one's gonna do that for Conor Benn. Like, they haven't cleaned his reputation up enough.
yeah, I agree.
Think about it, Russ. Remember when this all happened with Dillian about the B sample and all this, right?
Yeah,
Boxing fans weren't as clued up. So you could do a bit of PR and you could spin it and you could, some fans would believe you. I just think that we've moved on now and we're not as gullible. I genuinely think they've underestimated how angry people are with Conor Benn.
well, people were angry with the Dillian White situation. They sort of like gave Ern a pass on that and it went away, didn't it? But it's come back to blow him in the face with Benn. But not only did he fail one test, he failed two. And the brass neck on him trying to put the show on. I think that's where they've hung themselves. And I think that's why Eddie's not having it so good at the moment, is he?
Yeah. And I just don't see, I don't see why Pacquiao would need Conor Benn when he could literally fight anyone and he'd make more money in an exhibition with Floyd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course he would. Yeah, he'd make some right money in an exhibition with Floyd. But would it be an exhibition with Floyd if Pacquiao fight him, or would they put it down as professional?
I'd be an exhibition. I just think Floyd will always have the beating of Pacquiao. Always.
Floyd can more or less do what he wants now. Cut fight twice a year, pick up, I don't know, 20 million for doing a few minutes work and stuff. It's tick over money for him, isn't it?
Yeah, and I know people get annoyed by the fact that he's having exhibitions, but if you think about it, Russ,
Yeah.
he spent so long building that Mayweather brand. Why shouldn't he be allowed to get money from it?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree, mate. I agree. He paid his 10 out his contract with Aram as well, didn't he?
Yeah, can you imagine, Russ? Let's say Porky's Corner went crazy, right? And you're doing 1 million views a week.
Yeah.
And then someone says you got to stop recording after 50 videos. You're like, why?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not good, is it?
No, not at all.
All right then. TV companies. Do they need to stand up to these promoters a bit more? What do you think? Do you think to get these big fights on that we want? The sorry, B2B Bivol Garcia against uh what the Gas like hey not Haney Tank against Garcia uh Fury Usyk Spence Crawford, all them undefeateds in glamour divisions. The There's a problem with getting him in the ring, isn't there? What is the problem? Al Heyman's got Spence and Crawford, hasn't he? Or he did
You
have.
know, no, never had Crawford.
Oh, sorry, no. Sorry. Aram's got Crawford, or he did have him, didn't he? And Al
Mm-hmm.
got Spence. Now, they put shows on before, but Aram and him just couldn't seem to get that one over the line, could they? Why is that when they can put other fights on?
Right. So from what they're saying, the Crawford versus Spence issue was Crawford wanted it as a 50-50 in terms of like revenue split.
Yeah.
And Spence was like, well, no, like I have more belts than you, was Spence's argument. And Crawford was like, well, it doesn't matter. This is for undisputed. So they want to see both of us. And I
Yeah.
think that's why that one didn't happen. Garcia versus Tank Davis is promotional nonsense. So who's going to be lead promoter on the rematch? Like, there probably won't even be a rematch, for God's sake. But that's when it gets petty. And then Beterbiev versus Bivol, I just don't think people want to work with Hearn, to be honest with you. I think you could make Bivol versus Beterbiev if Hearn wasn't involved. You could probably make that next.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think he's burnt some bridges over there, Eddie?
He's nuked them. He hasn't just burnt them, he's nuked those bridges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what people have clocked is the DAZN money is not what it used to be, so they don't actually need to deal with Hearn anymore.
They put it up, haven't they? Price.
Oh, I've never had to pay for it, so I've been watching as a spectator on this one.
It's they're doing a super saver, aren't they? £100 for a year or something. One, it's supposed to be £2 a month.
So that's people are going to blame Hearn for that. That's not Hearn's fault. Like Hearn doesn't make those decisions, by the way. It's this, Russ. They thought they'd have more subscribers, right? By this point. And so when the subscriber numbers don't get up to where they're meant to be, they're just going to take what they have and say, we'll get more money out of these guys because that's all they can do.
Yeah. Dennis has done 28 shows in the last 2 years. Who's done more than him in UK?
28 shows in the last 2 years.
Yeah, 2021 and 22, he did 28 shows, Dennis.
I don't think anyone has, have they?
Maybe
Errol Johnson?
No. Maybe, I don't know, Ian does them all worldwide, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he's up there. He's definitely up there.
28 probably not for Dennis, because considering when I was with Dennis, he did from 2017 to 2020, we did 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We did 15 shows. As soon as I'm out at door, Dennis does 28 in 2 years.
See, there you go, mate. You're holding him back.
I was holding him back, wasn't I?
Mate, you're Emil Heskey to his Michael Owen.
He did 16 in 2021. I did 15 with me, fucking 5 years. But drug testing, we spoke about that a lot, and you and Larry Alabama.
Larry O. This was Larry O.
You and Larry O did a very good pod on your podcast, the Beautiful Boxing Podcast, or Beyond Boxing, if people want to Google it, or go on Spotify or Apple, or is it iCloud as well, isn't it?
iTunes, yeah.
iTunes. You did a good talk on that. And do you think since then, because that's about 2 years ago since you and Larry did that epic on drug testing, isn't it? And
we've done 2 classics.
Yeah, you've done, sorry, it's 2 classics. Yeah, but the first one was the best one, wasn't it? Now, since then, Terry, how do you think the drug testing's gone? Do you think it's become more tighter and stringent, or do you think it's just become farcical?
So it's gone. So if you go back, because we did the first one during the lockdown, right?
Yeah.
And so when it happened, and I think it was also because everyone had time on their hands, Russ, so they could really take that one in. I know people who listened to that 2 or 3 times. I think that was the one where people were going, I think boxing may have a problem here. Because people had always given boxing a pass, if you remember us. They'd always thought these men are different. They don't have to cheat, right? Yeah. And then we start to go through it, and you start to realize the Hall of Fame is actually full of drug cheats. Yeah. And you go, okay, boxing really does have a problem. And so people became more aware of it. So if you ask me what's happened since then, I think the doping in boxing's increased. I think they are better with the drugs that they take. I think they're better at avoiding detection. I think UCAD are like, we don't want to touch boxing. It's just not worth the grief. It's not worth the hassle. They don't want to touch boxing. Unless they've got you banged to rights, they will not touch it. And what that means is if you're a big name boxer, you've kind of learned to skirt the system. So maybe you don't carry a British license anymore. Yeah, so you can do whatever you want in this country.
Fury's not got a British license, has he?
He won't be the only one, Russ. A few people just won't be public with it. A few people won't carry a license.
Do you think Joshua and Tyson Fury, if they got busted, if Tyson got busted again, or if Joshua did, do you think we'd ever hear about it?
That's tricky. I think depending on whether they had them banged to rights. So let's just say you had 20 times the testosterone level of an average man. I think at that point they'd drag him through the mud, yeah. But if it's like these trace amounts, they'll just blow it off.
Yeah,
But for example, like I said to someone, like if someone said to me, who's the one guy who either isn't taking anything right now or is on the least amount of stuff, I'd always say it's Joshua.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd always say it's Joshua. People want to say he's the guy who kind of ushered in this era, and he didn't. Because if you notice, Joshua's voice has never changed. Joshua's got the same voice. Not every boxer's got the same voice as when they started their career.
Yeah. Joshua's a totally different person to all that stay humble stuff he was coming out with years ago, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's what you wanted, though, Russ. He gave you what you wanted.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He's well, it proved all along that I were right and that he were a fraud, wasn't he? Well, let's have it right. All that stay humble and this and that, and look what's been going on behind the scenes. There's been bitches, weed, the full works, orgies.
But that's what you want your heavyweight champion to do, right?
That's what we want, isn't it? Yeah, but we don't want them doing that and then coming out carrying off like Gary Lineker, do we?
I'm sure Gary Lineker got busy like that for a bit.
British title money, Terry. Is it going up or what? Dennis were paying more for British title fights 30 years ago. Well, 25 years ago, should I say, than because he weren't doing British title fights at the beginning of his promotion career. 25 years ago, Dennis were paying people more for British titles than they're getting now. What's wrong? Why is the British title being disrespected? You remember Mark Caylor, don't you? Errol Christie, British title fight. Nights like Henry Cooper, Bugner. Where are these nights again? It's the British, it's a Lonsdale belt being disrespected.
So if you go back to the old days, Rush, the British title meant a lot to boxing fans because it had a storied history. Like you could be a British champion and be famous in this country.
Yeah.
And then what people started to do was try and find clever routes to a world title because it was harder to get a world title in the old days.
Yeah.
Because the Americans had it sewn up. But now that Britain is a growing boxing market, it's like, well, you can get world title fights here. So the British titles kind of slipped into not irrelevance, but less relevance. And the Commonwealth title's done the same thing.
Yeah.
And so people are trying to get these kind of IBF Europeans and IBF plastic belts and WBO shoelacing championship. They're trying to get all of these crazy belts at the expense of the British. If you look at it, Conor Benn's never fought for a British or Commonwealth.
Yeah,
never.
No. Or an English.
No, not a single belt.
Not a Central area, none. It's crazy, isn't it?
Dave Allen never fought for a British.
You what?
Dave Allen never fought for a British.
No, I think Dave has, hasn't he? Is it still in white?
Was that for the British?
I don't know. Let me have a look. Could have sworn it was against Dylan White. Have a look. What will Dave Allen be on box record? White Rhino. Dave Allen box rec. Yeah. David Allen 25-2, 17 by way of.
That's a good record.
Yeah. Dylan White. Yeah. No, WBC International heavy. Lenroy Thomas, I think, were for Commonwealth. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see that's what I mean. WBC International over a British.
Yeah.
That's what's happened to the British title.
David Price against Dave Allen, WBA Continental. Not even a Intercontinental, it's Continental.
Because the British title doesn't get you ranked. That's the problem.
Yeah. When Dave fought Tom Dallas, that wasn't for a belt. Lucas Brown want for a belt either. Brown KO by a left body by Allen. Dave's still at mixed though, 53 on box rec, is number 9. Dave Allen's gone up in rankings on British and he had a fight. He's number 9 now in Britain.
But look who's above him. Isn't Jack Massey above him?
Jack Massey's above Dave Allen. Unbelievable, isn't it? He's had one fight at heavy and he lost.
There you go.
How messed up is that? What about this Solomon Dakras? He seems to go undetected, doesn't he? Age 29, 5-0.
He's creeping up slowly. I think he's hunting down Fabio Wardley at the moment.
Is he? Well, he looks a bit like Anthony Tomlinson a bit.
Except a fair bit taller though.
Yeah, he's 6'5". He's creeping up a bit slowly. He's just done Bracamante over 10 rounds. He's done Sokolowski. Only thing that bothers me with that Solomon Dakras 5-0, he's only got one stoppage.
Yeah,
that's 5-0 4 by way of at this stage at game, aren't they?
But if you look at his record, he hasn't been matched easy.
Yeah. All right. Is small all dying, Terry, or do you think people are trying to get it going again? Because a lot of small all promoters are falling by wayside at the moment, aren't they?
I think it's changing, Russ. It's not for general boxing fans. So let's just say you're a fan of boxing. You're not going to pop down to your local small hall show. You're just not, because you know you're not going to see the stars of tomorrow there. But you are going to go if your nephew's boxing, or if your mate from school's boxing. You're still going to go, right?
Yeah.
So as long as they keep that model going, the kind of friends and family model, you should still be able to break even. So I think as long as that still works, people still do that. But once the friends and family thing sort of diminishes, then I think it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. Do you think that Dylan White will fight Francis Ngannou? Because Dylan White, to me, he looks like he's on outside looking in now. And he's coming out with he'll fight Ngannou and blah, blah, blah. And because where does Dylan go now for a world title? He's really, really down line now, isn't he? Where's Dylan White's next pay-per-view coming from?
Otto Wallin, I imagine.
That can't be pay-per-view, that, surely.
Why not? It will be.
Otto Wallin against Dylan White, pay-per-view. You'd have to say pay-per-view. Fury and Joshua, they're pay-per-view, aren't they? We agree on that. Who else is pay-per-view from the UK who can command pay-per-view money, be the A-side and fight anybody and get pay-per-view? Dylan White can't just fight anybody, surely.
I think that's what you're going to see. You'll see that with him. You'll see it with Conor Benn. They're going to start ring fencing people.
Have not done anything to be commanding pay-per-view, have they? Pay-per-view is supposed to be for your pound-for-pound stars. The great fights where there's two men putting it all on the line, two worlds collide and all that. World War III and all that nonsense. In the trenches, in the ring, on the hard road. All that. And that they're just giving... It's the landing pay-per-view out willy-nilly.
Well, yeah, KSI can do pay-per-view. I don't see what... If that's the new benchmark, Russ. That's the new reality. KSI can do pay-per-view. And if he can, I think Dillian can. In fact, I think anyone should be able to put their hand up and go, I want to go pay-per-view.
Do pay-per-view overnight. We beat a beef, and yet Tommy Fury, Jake Paul's pay-per-view, but Yard and beat a beef weren't pay-per-view. How messed up's that?
Why didn't they go pay-per-view? That's the question you should be asking is why didn't they go?
Because you've got a guy there. He's got all belts except one, so he's unified, undefeated, knocked everybody out. He's a pound for pounder, beat a beef. He's in everybody's top 5, and yet he's fighting Yard, who's a KO merchant in UK, and it's not pay-per-view. I was shocked. So they get fans a treat, really, didn't they? There, Bricktop.
Yeah, I'd be fuming because that's some real money they let go.
Yeah, but they gave it to fans, and you know what? I think that's a good thing what he's done, because it's not very often that he throws a bone out, does he, Bricktop? But I think after that Chisora thing, I don't think they wanted to go pay-per-view. I thought it was too close to Chisora Fury. Do you?
I just think they dropped the ball on that. That should have been pay-per-view. But here's the issue, Frank Scott.
Rematch will be.
I don't think there'll be a rematch.
No.
Nah, there'll be a rematch for that. I just think, for me, that was bad business, because that deserved to be at the O2. That deserved a better build up. It's almost like they didn't even try and promote that fight. That's almost like it was a fight that people just wanted to get through, and I have no idea why, unless they'd already made their money.
Yeah, yeah. Does boxing need them 4 fights that we spoke about earlier? You know, Tank Davis, Garcia, Haney, all them kind of people, Fury, Usyk, Bivol, Spence, Crawford. Do we need these fights now?
No,
No.
no, because people will just moan. Give them those 4 fights, they'll moan that the rest of the fights aren't happening. Like we don't value anything, Russ. As boxing fans, we place no value on stuff. We just want stuff to happen because we want it to happen, right? No one cares. No, Beterbiev fights Bivol. There's a winner, there's a loser. No one's gonna care after the fight's done. It's just done. Yeah. What's next? Why won't so and so fight so and so? And we just keep going down that list.
Yeah.
We'll never be happy.
Yeah. Kell Brook, his coach Shane. What do you think to it? Has he got some nice friends?
I would say it probably wasn't one of the friends that did it.
It was somebody that wanted to give him some PR.
No, Russ. You know what? Look, Russ, you and I can be on a night out, right?
Yeah.
And you send a video to someone. Yeah. And it's someone where you think, nah, he ain't gonna say anything. Right? And then he may send it to his best friend.
Yeah.
And go, look, these lot are proper going at it. And he may not think his mate's going to say anything. Then that's the mate that sells it to the paper. So you go up to your mate and go, how did this get in the paper? He's like, it wasn't me. And he can prove it wasn't him. But he may have sent it to the wrong person. May have sent it to his girlfriend, his wife, whoever. And then they've sent it to their mates and it's just gone crazy.
God. I need to get rid of my camera in case it catches some of my episodes.
Yeah.
They would go viral. Joshua Franklin's been announced today, so it looks like they're going ahead with it. It's a fall from grace for Anthony Joshua. Big Meech. Do you think, Terry?
It's sad. And it's not sad because he's fighting Franklin. I think him fighting Jermaine Franklin makes sense. But if you remember, they were telling us before he wasn't going to have a tune-up. Remember that? He said, I'm a championship level fighter now. I'll go straight back into the mix. And he hasn't. That's the problem here. If Joshua had lost to Usyk, gone away for a bit, and then said, look, I'm with a new trainer, so my first fight's not going to be pay-per-view. It's not going to be anything. It's just going to be me, getting used to Derek James. We would have been okay with that, right?
Yeah.
But it's when they said, nah, he's going to come back and he's going to fight a big name. And remember, Hearn was like, he ain't going to fight Dempsey McKean. He's looking for someone of a higher standard. And then we get Jermaine Franklin, and you're like, you can't even tell me a serious win Jermaine Franklin has.
Yeah, he ain't got to see. Well, he did well against White, though, didn't he?
No, he didn't. White was just coasting.
Was he?
Oh. Yeah, he was coasting. He could have stopped that at any point.
Yeah, Lawrence Okolie says he's been bullied by Eddie Hearn on TalkSport yesterday. What do you make of that, Terry?
He's been jerked around by Eddie for sure. I see people in the comment section going, look at everything that Eddie Hearn's done for you, Lawrence. You're ungrateful. And I'm like, well, no, Lawrence hasn't lost a fight. Lawrence hasn't looked like losing a fight. He hasn't done anything for Eddie. In fact, Eddie was smart to hang on to him, because Lawrence is a legit monster that Joshua isn't right now.
Yeah. And do you think Joshua and Lawrence Okolie, if they fought, you think that'd be big news? Because he left his management company.
I think it would have been big news because of the sparring rumors about those two.
Yeah, he's supposed to have set about Joshua and put hands on him, I've heard.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what would make it interesting. In the same way, if Dubois fought Joshua, that's what would make it interesting.
Yeah, it would be. Looking at the American rotor at the moment, Ruiz, Deontay Wilder, Crawford, Spence, Tank Garcia, Canelo, Shields, Serrano, Enos, Thurman, Haney, Broner. That take them 10, 15 away. It's pretty threadbare, isn't it?
Nah, they got loads of kids coming through.
Yeah, loads of kids coming through, but they're the established names here. I just think, who's the next big noise from America, Terry? Who are you hearing about?
There's hundreds of them, and any one of those kids, you got Jerome Ennis, you got Virgil Ortiz, you got that kid Jared Anderson, who looks like he's flying through the ranks quickly. You know, Keyshawn Davis, Troy Isley, even guys who've taken a loss like Chris Colbert. You got the Gary Russell family. You got loads of people in them. They're loads, Russ.
Yeah, what
they're loads.
Next generation.
There's in those names. There's some for the future. There's some for now. Yeah. They're in a good place. The thing is, because we don't see them much in the heavyweight and light heavyweight rankings, we assume that the Americans have fallen off. But they're coming through in those smaller weight classes. So.
Yeah. All right. Fury Usyk, is it on?
It will happen at some point. I just don't see it happening this side of May.
Yeah. Riak Porte, Okolie, pay-per-view on Sky this summer. Is that true, the rumour?
No, not what I'm hearing. That may come later in the year. Because Lawrence will fight in March. Then Richard's got to fight again before they can both get it on. So I think you're looking at September, October time for that.
They're saying that that's going to be a massive Sky night this year. We're on TalkSport yesterday.
So it should be.
Yeah. Two undefeated Brits going at it. It's a good one, isn't it?
Two guys who put people to sleep as well.
Yeah. Well, Lawrence can put you to sleep, can't he? Literally.
No. We need to change that. We need to change that approach.
Johnny Bravo and gone to Sugar Hill.
No, look. How many of Lawrence's opponents has he knocked out?
I don't know, about 14 or something, 13 or something like that. No.
Yeah, virtually all of them he's knocked out.
He's knocked all out. I don't know.
So when people say he's got a boring style, I'm like, well, he's knocking people out. How is that boring?
Yeah.
And not knocking them out. Not like he hit them with 20 shots and the ref had to stop it. No, he's knocking them out.
Yeah, he's got some whack on him. He's quite wiry looking, isn't he, Lawrence?
Strong, very, very strong.
18-0, 14 by way of. So yeah. He's got a good KO ratio, hasn't he?
And remember, he's got no easy fights, so he hasn't got any filler in his career.
Yeah. Beefy, Kell Brook, rumour for Sky this summer. 20 quid pay-per-view. What do you think?
He's fighting Eubank next.
Well, they say he's going to fight Eubank next. But if he don't fight him, what about Kell Brook?
But he'll fight Eubank. I don't see Kell Brook coming back. I just don't.
No?
Nah.
Okay. Clarissa Shields, where does she go now? Does she go back to MMA? Or does she fight Savannah Marshall? 2 seconds.
So, as much as I like Savannah Marshall, I just think the win was decisive enough. It wasn't a close fight. I don't think the rematch would be any closer. I'd like to see Clarissa go and get another Olympic gold medal now. I don't think that she has nothing to prove in boxing. I'll go on record as saying this.
On, yeah.
I don't think there's been anyone in the sport of boxing who can sit at home and go, I literally have nothing to prove.
Yeah.
Nothing. There isn't a blemish on my career. There isn't a question mark over my career. If I retired now, this would be the perfect boxing career. I think that's Clarissa Shields.
Yeah, well, she's beat everybody, hasn't she? She's fought.
Yeah, comfortably.
You know what I mean? I don't think she's been in trouble, has she, yet?
I think she got knocked down once, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's done well. She's done very well. Okay. Where do you see Isaac Chamberlain going, Terry, from now
on? He'll fight Mikel Lawal in April. I think he's healed up now, so he'll be getting ready for that. He needs to win that. And then if he wins that, I think he needs rounds, Porky. That's all. He needs rounds. You know, I keep saying this to people. Hard fights make hard fighters. You can't be getting 1-round knockouts, 2-round knockouts, and then being a 12-round war. Like, you're not prepared for it physically or psychologically. If he can get another 20 rounds in, then he's ready to rematch all these guys that beat him, I think.
What about Russ Gerard's man, Vidal Riley for Isaac Chamberlain?
Nah, come on, man. Now, Isaac's battle hardened in a lot of ways that Vidal Riley isn't. Vidal Riley's a talented kid, but he also needs rounds. And Russ will tell you that. Vidal Riley needs those 8-rounders, those 10-rounders. He needs a few points decisions so he can build his stamina and experience up too. But he's talented, by the way. Super, super talented. I like him because he throws a lot of what I call middleweight combinations for cruiserweight, and it's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, what about Ricky Reeves then? 5-1 cruiserweight. He's fighting Pacquiao next.
Pacquiao will knock him spark out.
But Central area, do you reckon?
I think Pacquiao in Yorkshire right now, there isn't anyone more talented than Pacquiao.
Honestly.
Yeah. I think when he wins the Central area, I'll definitely be happy for him because he's done it the hard way. You know, a lot of people doubted Pacquiao. A lot of people threw eggs at Pacquiao. I want him to win that Central area. He could be the reincarnation of John Conte.
Harry, your man trolling me. We're talking about Pacquiao. He's a bin man. Literally works for Sheffield Council as a bin man.
So he doesn't have to do strength and conditioning. There you go.
Perry's all right, man. But if he wins that Central area and I've got to jump in that River Don, I'm going to be devastated.
Mate, I'll be watching that. I will be watching.
And they're watching it on Max's Instagram and Dennis while they're howling. That's why Dennis has probably made that with Bullcroft just to get me in Don.
Mate, that's what's going to sell the tickets. Like so I think the plan at the moment is we all go to the fight. If Pacquiao wins, we're driving you to the river that night.
Yeah, go on.
And then you got to jump in right that night. So it's all going to be part of the broadcast. They'll be live on Fight Zone.
Yeah, I'll piece it all in, me doing my man from Atlantis with River Rats.
We got the underwater cameramen ready for everything. We'll get all the detail, Russ.
We just need some Wally to go underwater, don't we, with camera? I was thinking about Max, actually. You want to click on next link, pal?
All right, no worries.
We're sponsored by Spartan Site Solutions. They are specialists in civil engineering and demolition contracts for the construction industry. Interested parties should visit their website or contact Porky's Corner for a referral at porkycorner@mail.com.